If everyone could make sure that they're muted, we will move forward. So welcome to the July 2023 IFSP Regional Council Coordinated Meeting. We are really excited about the great attendance tonight, so thank you for taking the time out to participate and share in the discussion on an important topic that will probably garner a lot of questions. We believe this exchange will be beneficial and, better yet, useful when a waiver slot assignment happens for you. Closed captioning access is available for this meeting, and Rachel will paste the link for Virginia Relay in chat. If you need it for immediate access, please look for it in chat. Brenda Perrin is the assigned captioner. Our main presentation this evening will come from the Office of Provider Network Supports at DBHDS. Our topic is what happens after I get a DD waiver slot in Virginia. This topic was overwhelmingly requested by state and regional council members, and IFSP is dedicated to support and bring forth useful information that the community desires. So we hope that some of the details you obtain tonight will be useful in preparation for that next stage. Also joining in the regional breakout sessions are DD support coordination managers, representative of various community services boards across Virginia. They are here to help facilitate more intimate discussions on the community level. So you will meet them during the breakout sessions. As a courtesy for the time and effort our speaker has put into preparing for this particular topic of discussion, we ask that attendees ask questions based on the focus of tonight's discussion. Right now, I'll introduce you to our IFSP team. My name is Rhonda Gaines, and I am the IFSP Community Coordination Supervisor. I will let Heather introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Heather Hines. I am the program manager for IFSP.
And Rachel?
I'm Rachel Vimenta. I am the communications and program coordinator at IFSP.
Thank you. By the way, Rachel is working behind the scenes. She's doing all the technical magic, she and Heather. And so they're making this job look easy tonight. And I say thank you so much. If you run into any technical problems during the meeting, Rachel will paste the IFSP community box email address. So send your messages there, it'll be monitored, and we'll try to help you get back online or troubleshoot your issue. Let's see here. Here are the ground rules for the meeting. This meeting is planned for approximately 2 hours. Again, rename yourself in Zoom if you haven't done so already. Please stay muted during the presentation, and also hold your questions until Q&A, which is at the end of the meeting and after the breakout sessions. We ask for everyone to remain muted until after the main presentation. You can place questions in chat as we go along, or again, hold questions for after breakout. If your question is region specific, please hold those questions for the breakout sessions. When you're asking questions, you can unmute yourself for exchange with the presenters. This meeting is hosted by IFSP's regional councils. If you have questions about IFSP funding, please visit My Life, My Community website funding page, and Rachel will post that link in chat. Cameras are optional, so you can have them on or off during the meeting. Okay. Like I said, questions will be answered at the end of the meeting. If there are any questions that we didn't answer, or you didn't receive a response, we will place those questions and answers in our post-meeting slides, and that will be located on the My Life, My Community website. I believe that link has already been posted. For your privacy, please refrain from sharing specific personal information during exchanges, again, because this is a recorded session. At this time, I'm going to turn over the meeting to Heather Hines, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about IFSP and our 4 components of service. So go ahead, Heather.
Thank you, Rhonda. All right, so as Rhonda said, we have 4 main components for IFSP, which stands for the Individual and Family Support Program. And yes, we have our funding program. And sorry, just lost my script. There it is. Our target population includes individuals and families, regardless of age, with a developmental disability who live in the Commonwealth of Virginia and who are on the wait list for the DD Waiver. IFSP provides financial resources with our annual funding program. That's where individuals and family members who are on the DD Waiver waitlist can apply for funding for items and services that support them to continue to live in their communities. This program is typically run once per year in the fall. This year, 2023, it ran in January, February, because we had a brand new portal that had to be developed. But in future years, and this year as well, our goal is to run it in the fall. There'll be more information coming out about that in the future. So stay tuned for that. Another part of our program is our direct supports. So as you can see on the slide here, we have partnerships with Virginia Commonwealth University's Center for Family Involvement and with the ARC of Virginia. Through those partnerships, we offer direct supports to individuals and families. That includes family mentoring and peer mentoring. Those are free resources. If you are an individual or a family member or someone that is navigating the system, whether you have waiver, whether you are on the waiting list, or just someone that has a developmental disability or a family member. It's sometimes really nice to be able to talk to someone who has been in your shoes and has lived experience. So those services are really, really important, and we really encourage you to take advantage of them. It's great. You can call them and they can really help you navigate the system because they've been there and they know the challenges and they know how to really get what you need. So you can learn more about that and all of these programs on the My Life, My Community website. Our partnership with VCU also includes LEAP, which stands for Leadership for Empowerment and Abuse Prevention Training. That's a really great resource. So I encourage you to learn more about that. And again, regardless of your wait list or waiver status, you can access all of these programs. IFS, well, except for the funding, that's for people on the wait list only. IFSP also partners with Virginia Navigator to develop and maintain the My Life, My Community website. So you'll hear us talking a lot about that. That is where, we really, really encourage people to go to find out information about IFSP, to find out information about waiver services, and really any kind of resource you can think of. There's probably information there about it. So we partner with Virginia Navigator to develop and maintain that website. And there is also a toll-free number through our partnership that allows them to have a team of staff who are available on the phone Monday through Friday. I believe it's 8 to 4. So you can call and speak to a live person. So you're trying to find some information. You're just like, I don't know where to go. You can call that number. It's 844-603, and maybe Rhonda or Rachel can put this in the chat, 844-603-9248, and you can speak to a live person, and they're wonderful. They really can help a lot. Very, very knowledgeable. Another essential part of IFSP is, sharing information about resources with individuals and their families and the community at large. So part of that is that website. We want to get information out to you, but also we have developed something called IFSP First Steps, and it's a document that can be accessed on My Life, My Community on the website. And it's also included in our annual mailer that goes out to everyone that is on the DD Waiver waitlist. It includes an overview of the DD system, and it was developed to help individuals and families understand resources, supports, and services that the Commonwealth offers to people with developmental disabilities. It includes how to access the DD waivers. It includes links to the website, the My Life, My Community website, some information about IFSP and our programs, and then several pages that have information about support coordination, and then resources for people who are on the waiver waitlist. There's information about crisis supports that are available as well. So it's currently being reviewed and updated. We do that every year, and it will include the most current and updated information, and will be provided by email and postal mail to everyone on the DD Waiver waitlist in our annual mailer. And if you do not have it, if we don't have your email address, we will send it to you via postal mail. And finally, our community coordination program supports community action and engages with individuals and families through our regional and state councils. That's what we're doing here tonight. DBHDS established the IFSP Community Coordination Program to assist families and individuals with developmental disabilities on the DD Waiver waitlist so that they may live, work, and play in their communities. This is a partnership made up of our regional councils, which are 5 coalitions of individuals who are on the DD Waiver waiting list, family members, caregivers, providers, all working together at a grassroots level to increase supports in their communities. And the regional councils also partner with the state council, which is a coalition of individuals who are on the DD Waiver waiting list, family members, caregivers, again, that serve as an advisory board to DBHDS and our team, the IFSP team. So as you can see, we are really focused on providing information to the community, and we are open to feedback. Please look out for our survey that we put out, our satisfaction survey that we put out once a year. And we're just really excited that you're here. And we're excited about the regional councils and the work that they're beginning to do together. And any questions you have about any of these programs, again, please go to the My Life, My Community website and you can learn all about it.
Thank you, Heather. Heather leads the effort for IFSP to better serve our community and administer this program. So we're very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're ready for introductions for our main presentation. If everyone could please again mute unless you're a presenter. So our presentation is coming from the Office of Provider Network Supports at DBHDS. The topic of discussion is what happens after I get a DD waiver slot in Virginia. Our expert presenter is Ronnitta Clements, individual and family lead as a community resource consultant in Region 4. Joining Ronnitta during Q&A is another community resource consultant, Michelle Gusowitz. I hope I said that right. And so I'm going to give you a little information about Ronnitta and her background, and then she's going to take over and give you all this great information that is going to be very useful. So Ronnitta holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Old Dominion University. She has worked in the field of developmental disability services for over 28 years. Ronnitta has been a community resource consultant for almost 9 years. Prior to working for DBHDS, she worked at Western Tidewater Community Services Boards for 19 years, where she worked in both residential and case management and also, excuse me, as direct care staff within leadership. Ronnitta began her career experience while she was still in college, working in an ICF facility for children. Ronnitta is inspired daily by her husband, Michael, their 2 children, and her new granddaughter. In her free time, Ronnitta likes to attend church, shop, exercise, spend time with her family, and motivate others. I will hand the meeting over to Ronnitta for the main presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. Yes, I have been in this field. Actually, it's been almost 30 years. I actually started when I was 2. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Will you guys be projecting? There we go. I guess, can you do it without the notes? There we go. All right. So we're going to jump right in. Next slide. So this evening, we're going to talk about some key agencies and some key roles, the HCBS settings regulations, types of waivers, and the services that go along with those waivers. We're going to talk about person-centered practices and ISP. We're going to talk about some of the assessments, what else you need to know, and then we'll talk a little bit about support with decision-making. Next slide. So key agencies, while maneuvering through the DD waiver system, you will encounter working with several key agencies. Here are a few. Next slide. DMAS, the Department of Medical Assistance Services. DMAS is the single state agency for Medicaid. DMAS is the state agency that administers the DD waivers in Virginia. It is also who provides payment for providers. It is also where you would go if you or your loved one had received their appeal rights and you want to appeal a decision. Some reasons why you might receive an appeal letter. You requested, your request for Medicaid funded services has been denied. Any suspension, termination, denial, or decrease of DD waiver services, and also if a requested start date has been modified. All of those are some reasons why you might receive your appeal letter, and that would come from your support coordinator. Next slide. Another key agency is the Department of Social Services. The Department of Social Services is one of the largest agencies within the Commonwealth and where you would go to apply for Medicaid. And we all know that Medicaid needs to be confirmed in order to accept a waiver slot when it is awarded. Next slide. The Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, which is DBHDS. This is the agency that I actually work with, and we manage the day-to-day operations of the DD waivers. Within DBHDS, we provide service authorization, we license providers and provide oversight. We have human rights department that helps protect individuals' human rights, and we provide training and technical assistance to providers. Next slide. Community Services Board or Behavioral Health Authorities. The name is interchangeable, but means the same thing. So the CSB is the single point of entry for the DD waivers. And most of your interaction with the CSB will be with your support coordinator. However, there are some CSBs that may also be providers of waiver services. Next slide. So in Virginia, there are a total of 40 community services boards split between 5 different regions. So you may hear your support coordinator or provider say that they are in a specific region. Any individual in the state that has a waiver can receive support from anywhere within the state. The regional breakdown is mostly for DBHDS staff. However, if an individual moves out of the state of Virginia, their waiver will not move with them. You will have to reach out to that state's DD system and follow their protocol and regulations. Next slide. Support coordination. Next slide. Support coordinators, who may also be called case managers, play a pivotal role within the DD system in Virginia. Next slide. Their role includes advocating for the individuals they support, planning for transitions in the individual life, and monitoring the health status and medical needs of the individual. Next slide. They communicate with providers, teachers, medical doctors, MCOs. They collaborate with care coordinators and other entities connected to the individual. They are also mandated reporters and are responsible for reporting any necessary situation of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Next slide. Support coordinators are the eyes and ears for the DD system. They are required to have face-to-face visits with the individual they support. And during those visits, they should be observing, asking questions, assessing the status of the individual, and making sure the individual is being supported appropriately and according to their ISP. Next slide. Support coordinators are assigned. The CSB does try to make the best match possible with the individual to the support coordinator. However, there may be instances when you are dissatisfied with your assigned support coordinator and need to request another support coordinator. At that point, reach out to the SC supervisor of that community services board to discuss the issue and request a change. Slide. HCBS. So HCBS is the acronym, and it stands for Home and Community-Based Services. Next slide. All right. So the Home and Community-Based Services Settings Regulations, which was previously known as the final rule, it was published in the Federal Registry back in January of 2014 and became effective in March of that same year. The regulations are from CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and they are designed to enhance the quality of home and community-based services for individuals, provide additional protections to individuals, and ensure full access to community living. Any residential or non-residential setting where individuals live and or receive HCBS must have the following qualities. They must be integrated in and support full access of individuals to the greater community, provide opportunities to seek employment, work in competitive integrated settings, engage in community life, control their personal resources, and ensure that individuals receive services in the community to the same degree of access as individuals not receiving HCBS. It also should ensure individuals have the rights to privacy, dignity, and respect, and freedom from coercion and restraint. It optimizes individuals' initiative, autonomy, and independence in making life choices. It facilitates individual choice regarding services and supports and who provides them. So there are 5 settings that are being reviewed to make sure they are in compliance with the HCBS regulations. They are group homes, sponsored settings, supported living, group day, and group supportive employment. Each setting of these services have to be reviewed. So if the provider has 10 group homes, each group home would receive a review, and that review could either be an on-site review or a desk review. So there are additional requirements for residential settings, which would be your group home, sponsored or supported living. The person living there should have a lease or other legally enforceable agreement. The person has privacy in their unit, including lockable doors. They have choice of roommates and freedom to decorate their unit. The person controls his or her schedule, including having access to food at any time. The person can have visitors at any time, and the setting should be physically accessible to the individual. So what is a waiver? Medicaid waivers began in 1981 as a means to correct the institutional bias of Medicaid funding. Medicaid HCBS waivers provide opportunities for people eligible for an institutional level of care to receive services in their own home or community rather than an institutional setting. So within Virginia, we have 3 DD waivers. Next slide. We have the building independence, which we refer to as the BI waiver. We have the family and individual supports waiver, which we refer to as the FIS. And then we have the community living waiver, which is referred to as the CL. I'll go into a little bit more detail in the next few slides on these waivers. So for the CL waiver, it includes residential supports and a full array of medical, behavioral, and non-medical supports. It is available to both children and adults. Here is the full array of services available under the community living waiver. It ranges from having ability to get assistive technology, environmental modification, day services, crisis services, nursing services, all the way down to workplace assistance. So it is a full array of services that come under the community living waiver. So the FIS waiver is the next waiver, and it's for people that live with their families, friends, or on their own. And it includes supports for those with some medical and behavioral needs. It is also available to both children and adults. So here is the full array of services under the FIS waiver. Again, you have your assistive technology, day services, crisis services, workplace assistant, nursing services. And if you were to put the list for the community living waiver services right next to the FIS waiver services, they would be identical with the exception of under the CL is where you would have your residential and your sponsored. And under the FIS, you have the individual and family caregiver training. So those two waivers are very similar, except your community living has the residential piece connected. And then the last waiver is the building independence, and it's for adults who are 18 or over who live independently in the community with supports, where they own, lease, or control their own living arrangements. And here's a list of services that are covered under the BI waiver. You still have your assistive technology, day services, electronic home-based services. It still has a full array of services under the BI waiver. So assessments. The first assessment that we're going to talk about is the VIDES. The VIDES is an assessment that is completed by the support coordinator to confirm and to continue to confirm functional eligibility. And the VIDES must be completed no more than 6 months prior to the waiver enrollment and then annually thereafter. It must be conducted by a qualified support coordinator in person, and that means face-to-face with the individual, with any other person who knows the individual well that they would want to attend that meeting. The next assessment is the risk awareness tool, which can also be referred to as the RAT. It is a tool designed to increase awareness around high-risk health conditions and community safety risks. The tool is completed by the support coordinator at the initial waiver meeting and annually thereafter, and also as support needs change. There are 7 medical sections reviewed during the RAT: pressure injury, aspiration pneumonia, fall with injury, dehydration, bowel obstruction, sepsis, and seizure. There are also 4 behavioral sections that are reviewed during the RAT: community safety risks, self-harm, elopement, lack of safety awareness, and any areas that are identified within that RAT should be addressed within the individual's ISP. The next assessment is the SIS. The SIS is an assessment tool developed by AAIDD, and it measures the person's support needs in several life areas to identify and describe the type of intensity of support a person requires. And a SIS is only required for DD Waiver recipients. The SIS assessment is completed by the team, including the person, his or her family and significant others, the support coordinator, and other providers. It is done at least every 3 years for adults or when there are significant changes in the individual. The support coordinator can also request a SIS reassessment when there are significant and sustained changes in medical or behavioral and or any 2 life activity domains that happen over a period of 6 months. But those changes must be documented in the progress notes, the quarterly reviews, and within the ISP. Forms. So during this entire process, there will be several forms that will be discussed, reviewed, and some will require signatures. So the consent to exchange information. The support coordinator will get several consent forms signed during the intake as needed, and then annually thereafter. Those consent forms give the support coordinator permission to speak to others involving the individual on their behalf. Some of those entities could be the doctor, the MCO coordinator, it could be Social Security, social services, school teachers, or members of the family. Human rights notification. The support coordinator will also review the human rights with the individual that they support and make sure that they are aware of who to contact if their human rights are being violated. Support coordinators are also responsible for making sure informed choice has been given. This form gets filled out annually. It also gets filled out at the time of enrollment and when there is a requested change for a waiver provider and when new services are requested. What do you do when a slot is awarded? The very first thing you want to do is say, yes, thank you. We have a waiver. And then the work begins. So you will receive a call from your support coordinator letting you know that the slot has been awarded. And you will be explained which waiver was actually awarded. Was it the BI waiver? Was it the FIS waiver? Or was it the CL waiver? The support coordinator will make sure they have all eligibility documentation on file, whether it's the psychological, the recipient choice form, identifying information. If the individual does not already have Medicaid, you want to go ahead and apply for Medicaid. Next slide. If the individual or family has not made a decision yet, the support coordinator will call back maybe within a week or so to see if you have decided to accept the waiver. If it is accepted, the support coordinator will go into WAMS and enroll the person into the waiver. The support coordinator will start coordinating the ISP meeting to complete all the forms, the Virginia Informed Choice that I mentioned, the RAT, to go over the HCBS rights with the individual. And then you will begin working with the support coordinator on exploring desired services and providers. So, but if you have not made a decision, or if the waiver that is being offered is not what you would is not what you think will be able to support your loved one, you can decline the waiver. If it is a building independence or a FIS waiver, you will remain on the wait list. However, if you decline a community living waiver, you will be removed from the DD waiver wait list. After accepting the waiver, if the services are not initiated within 30 calendar days of the support coordinator enrolling the individual in WAMS to the waiver, the SC must notify the local Department of Social Services. They must also submit a request to retain slot to DBHDS pending the initiation of services. DBHDS may approve the slot retention request for 30 days. And they can do that for up to 4 consecutive extensions. Or they can deny the request to retain the waiver slot if at the end of the extension time, there is no evidence that the individual efforts to utilize the waiver. Person-centered practices and the ISP. In 2009, the principles of person-centered practices became the foundation of Virginia's individual support plan and DD waivers. The benefits of person-centered practices are evident and ultimately leads to meaningful changes in a person's life. Person-centered planning promotes self-determination, community inclusion, and supporting people to live the lives that they want. It builds on a person's strengths, personality, and interests. It helps the person to become an integral part of their community, and it assists the person in making personal choices, achieving goals and dreams, and a desirable lifestyle. And we want to always remember that the people that we are supporting are the heart of everything that we do. Person-centered practices strive to give all people positive control over the lives they have chosen for themselves. The ISP meeting is a focused time to discuss a person's hopes, dreams, and wishes for their lives. It is a team approach. The team consists of the person, family, or caregiver as applicable, the support coordinator, providers, and any other person requested by the individual. The person should be supported and needs to lead and should be able to lead his own meeting as they desire. Remember, the team members work on behalf of the individual. So the actual PCISP comes in 5 parts. The first part is the personal profile. which is completed in a shared effort between the support coordinator and the providers and developed prior to the annual meeting so that it can be reviewed by the team during the meeting. Part 2 is the essential information, which is developed again by the support coordinator prior to the meeting with input from the planning team. The part 2 should include information from the SIS, the risk assessment tool, any medical or behavioral evaluations, maybe an IEP or other relevant documents. Part 3 is the shared planning. During this time, desired outcomes that are based on what is important to the individual and what is important for the individual, that's when it is developed. Information from previous portions of the plan are used to develop outcome statements. During this meeting, providers selected by the individual agree to provide supports that lead to an individual's desired outcomes and assure health and safety and well-being. Part 4 is the agreement section, which is, of course, the signature page, but includes questions that are reviewed in the person-centered ISP process that assist with evaluating how successful they were with the planning. And then last is your part 5. If the PCISP was a book, the part 5 would be the final chapter. And like a book, it's not complete without all sections. And there should be a part 5 from the support coordinator, as well as all DD waiver providers that support that individual. Provider options, what to consider. Now that a decision has been made about desired services, we now can start looking for providers. A few things that you want to keep in mind when you're looking for providers is location. You want to think about the knowledge and experience of that provider. You want to set up tours and ask as many questions as you have. There are several resources when it comes to looking for providers, with the biggest one being your support coordinator. The support coordinator should be working in collaboration with the individual and the family to locate a provider of the desired service. And if it's a residential setting that you're going to, you may also want to look at the rent rate, the fee schedule, as well as the house rules. Service authorization. So DBHDS is the DMAS designated agency tasked to approve all service authorization requests for the DD waivers. Authorization should be received prior to an individual actually beginning a service. So here's a flow chart of how it works. The service authorization process begins with the support coordinator. They have to add the desired provider to the individual's record in WAMS. The provider can then go in and create the authorization listing the number of hours requested. The authorization is sent back to the support coordinator, who reviews the authorization and submits it to DBHDS. If everything is in place, the authorization is given an approval. However, if something is missing or there's an overlapping of services, it could be rejected, pended, or denied. Oftentimes, the provider has the opportunity to go in, make necessary corrections, and resubmit the authorization. Transfers. If an individual receiving services moves or intends to move into a new catchment area, the CSB of origin must contact the receiving CSB to inform them. There is a transfer protocol that was developed by the DD waivers, and it's followed by the CSBs to transfer cases. If you're ending services, if there is an issue with the provider and there are thoughts of ending the services, a conversation is needed with the support coordinator immediately. If the support coordinator is unable to resolve the issue, a meeting may be necessary. That meeting could be done by phone, virtually, or in person. If there is no resolution and ultimately the individual and family want to end the services, then the provider would end the authorization in WAMS and the individual is free to choose another provider. If it is the provider that is ending the service, they are required to follow their own agency's policies and procedures. So loss of a waiver. Once an individual has a DD waiver, they should continue to, once an individual has a DD waiver and continues to meet the criteria for the waiver, losing their waiver should not be an issue. However, there are some reasons why an individual would lose their waiver. The individual's health and safety and welfare and medical needs can no longer be safely met in the community. The individual is no longer eligible for either Medicaid or no longer meets the functional eligibility, which would be the VIDs. The individual was eligible for one of the waivers, accepted the waiver slot, but did not start services within 5 months. The individual moves out of the state. The individual declines to use DD waiver services, or if the individual moved into an ICF or a nursing facility. Supported decision-making. Everyone has the right to meaningfully participate in decisions regarding all aspects of their life. You should always presume that people have capacity. They can tell everything about themselves, handle their own affairs, make informed decisions about their goals and support needs to the same degree as someone who does not have a disability. But there are some times when a person may want or need the input from others who know them well. This can come from a family member or a friend who may choose to use a supported decision-making agreement, or from a conservator, authorized representative, or legal guardian. We often hear about authorized representatives and legal guardians, but there are many other types of decision-making options. There are 2 categories for decision-making. As you'll see on the slide, there is supported and then there is substitute. So under supported decision-making, it's when an individual uses other people they trust to help them understand their options, but the individual with the disability makes the final decision. Supported decision-making also ensures that the person keeps their legal rights, such as the right to vote, drive, work, get married, or decide where to live. These types of decision-making include power of attorney, advanced medical directives, and supported decision-making agreements. So your substitute decision-making is when another person or multiple people are appointed to make decisions for someone else because the person does not have capacity. Substitute decision-making typically is done through the court, and those types of decision-making include conservators, full and limited legal guardians, and authorized representatives. For more information on supported decision-making and other types of decision-making, we have information on the DBHDS website, and that link is actually on our slide. And we have a resource page. On the resource page, under the second bullet, which says CRC listing for Virginia, my information will be there under Region 4, Ronnitta Clements. So if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to give me a call, send me an email, and I will do what I can to answer you or direct you in the right direction to answer your question. That was a lot of information. It was a high overview of some of the information. So again, like I said, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll do what I can to answer your questions. And thank you.
Thank you, Ronnitta. So if anyone has questions regarding the information that has been presented, please put it in chat. If it's more regional, you can address it in a few minutes in your regional breakout. We wanted to provide a comprehensive framework about the process because once you're awarded a slot, it can become incredibly fast-paced and you're not really quite sure of all of the components and how they work in your role. And so I think the important parts of that is, of course, the Medicaid eligibility, using the slot when it's awarded, and making sure that the individual has a voice and is making choices in terms of services that they desire and providers that they want to receive the services from. Staying in contact, support coordination and case management is used interchangeably. So having a good relationship and advocating for self and having the support coordinator, they coordinate services for you, receiving the help and support that you need. And remembering that, you know, even though you have a support coordinator assigned to you, they have multiple people on their caseload, but they will respond in a timely fashion. So I hope the information was helpful. Again, put your questions in chat. We're going to put up just periodically, there's a QR code for satisfaction. And if you can't use the QR code, Heather is going to share the link in lieu of the QR code, where you can also participate in the satisfaction survey.